We'll call this meeting to order. School board meeting, March 9, 2026. Verification of meeting posted. This meeting was posted in accordance with all open meeting laws. Attendance roll call.
Kevin, here. Chris, here. Bob, here. Harry,
Here.
Lori, here. Tracy, here.
All right, we do have a quorum. If everybody would stand, and first would you do this from the pledge of allegiance? Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Sorry.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And we're going to go right into number 2, recognitions.
All right. Well, our first recognition will have the opportunity to bring our dance team up front after an absolutely incredible performance again in the 2026 state championship event, where they placed second place in the D1 kick and third place in the D1 pound routine. So if we could please have our incredible dance team come on up to the front.
Brianna Arts. Hallie Krumau. Oh, I got this one. Natalie Clark-Goldman. Lauren Roger. Aria Studer. Olivia Wilby.
And you can't have an incredible team without an incredible coaching staff. So again, behind the scenes, the awesome work and dedication to helping our students learn, grow, and succeed does not go unnoticed as well.
Rachel Troyer. Emily Everett. Thank you all. And that. Congratulations to all of you.
You guys, try to get a picture and we'll pop off the side.
Put down the PD website. What are we doing? This is good fun.
Right, so our next celebration is one that truly warms my heart because oftentimes we navigate through our days as educators and folks who work in the world of education, and there are just things that sometimes we take for granted. Every year we go through training, through multiple modes, and one of the trainings that we receive is on Heimlich maneuver, and for all of us, we hope that you're never going to have to use any of that training, but a little over a week ago, Myra Bartel, who is the lead custodian here at Lakeview in this beautiful building that always looks incredible, happened to be in the cafeteria when a student came up who was choking and was giving the signal for choking. And without hesitation, she immediately went to her training and was able to dislodge the object that was in the student's throat, and in essence, very likely could have saved the student's life without missing a beat, without any level of panic. And the level of care and concern truly exemplifies what we believe it means to be a part of our system. So on behalf of our entire school board, our staff, and our community, thank you for your quick action, for your investment and engagement in the training that you do, and for taking it seriously. You truly do exemplify what it means to be a part of the One Warrior family. So if you wouldn't mind coming up, we just want to take a picture and just thank you again. We didn't do a certificate because we didn't think there was a good certificate to come back. It felt like an athlete, probably a medal or something. And that concludes our celebrations.
So number 3 is public comment. Do we have anyone? No? All right, so there's nobody signed up for public comment. And we move on to number 4, consent agenda. Motion to approve consent agenda as presented. Any discussion, or would anyone like any specific item removed for individual consideration? No? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And on to student representation.
Hello, everyone. So, at our elementary schools, Bay Lane had another outstanding year of fundraising for American Heart Association. As a school, they raised over $44,000, which put them at the 3rd highest earner in the state. Thank you to Mr. Hetzel and Mr. Carlson for organizing this event, and a special shout out to all of the amazing staff members who volunteered to get slimed by the highest fundraisers in each grade. Martinville Valley was also kicked off with Read Across America Week. The theme was Champion Kindness. Classrooms enjoyed guest readers along with You've Been Booked bags for grade levels to share that contained books that centered around the theme of kindness. At our middle schools, there will be an 8th grade career fair on Friday, March 20th at Lake to Noon. This is a great opportunity for students to explore different careers they'd be interested in, and even ones that they don't know anything about. For musicals, Lake to Noon put on their production of SpongeBob this past weekend. It was so hilarious and a great show for families to go and see. And Mosquito Lakes will be having their Little Mermaid shows this weekend at the PAC with 2 sets of cast that are excited to perform. Spring sports are also kicking off at the middle schools, such as track and field, with practices beginning soon. Best Buddies and the band at Lake to Noon are hosting a Culver's Fundraisers Night. Best Buddies having theirs on the 5th, while the band is having theirs on the 25th. Bus Buddies also hosted a Spread the Word Day on the 4th, prompting students and teachers to wear mismatched clothing or choose inclusion shirts to show how wonderfully unique they are. Mosquito Lakes is also starting their Muskie Money Madness competition this week. This is a fun grade level competition where students can bring in coins to either add points to their grade bins or deduct points from others. At the high school, the MHS musical crew and orchestra performed their show of Shrek the Musical this past month. It was an amazing show that showcased so much talent from our students. Juniors are also cramming in their last-minute studying and review before they take the ACT tomorrow, which I'm personally so excited for. And Drama Club is also starting auditions for Julius Caesar, which is going to be their new show. Winter sports are also wrapping up with our wrestlers competing in state this past weekend, our girls basketball team finishing their season with a hard fight, and our boys still advancing in playoffs. Now we're transitioning into spring sports such as track, lacrosse, baseball, softball, and soccer, as they're hosting their tryouts this week and next, and practices starting sooner. Thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to superintendent's report.
All right, well, it is my pleasure first to introduce our wonderful Lakeview staff for their mid-year report to the board.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for being here tonight. I know we are rounding out your traveling board sessions.
daylight savings, 70-degree weather, so thanks for being here. Courtney Peterson is our teaching and learning coach, and she's going to be presenting with me tonight. Here we go. Okay. So Lakeview's academic achievement for the 24-25 school year has been recognized by the U.S. News, and we have been placed in the top 4% of elementary schools in Wisconsin. So this really just reflects the Lakeview staff, family, and the district's ongoing dedication to making sure that we're putting students at the forefront of every decision that we're making. All right, next on our report card, Lakeview's academic achievements are very noteworthy, so we're really proud of our accomplishments here. We're committed to being reflective and on our continuous improvement journey. So knowing that each year brings a new wave of students with specific needs, we're able to identify areas that we want to replicate and then areas that we want to grow and learn from. All right, for student achievement, when we look at student achievement, it's definitely a strong point for Lakeview. Specifically, this data shows that both in ELA and in math, we did increase in our advanced students this past year on the forward exam. In literacy, 75% of our 3rd and 4th grade students received proficient or advanced, and in math, 83% of 3rd and 4th grade students received proficient and advanced. So these two data points did help Lakeview earn a prominent 94.3 score for achievement. All right, for student growth. So while our growth score has wavered from years past, we wanted to collaborate to secure plans in place to make sure we're monitoring and making sure all students are progressing in the right direction. So first off, our school SLO has a school-wide focus where we routinely go over data and in next path to make sure we're all consistent and on the same page. Second, our wonderful coaches, Exhibit A and Exhibit B, are just so resourceful here at Lakeview. Their classroom is high traffic, students access them all the time. They intervene and extend and just making sure they're proactive as possible. Third is our curriculum. We are getting more and more familiar with our resources, and we're increasing our ability to deliver the fidelity and integrity of each curriculum. And then lastly, we are committed to our PLCs. Our teachers meet on a semi-weekly basis around literacy and mathematics to make sure we're really monitoring student understanding of what is happening in the classroom. So Courtney's going to go do a deep dive as to what that looks like here at Lakeview.
So our commitment to student academic growth is a systematic practice. By rooting ourselves in our professional learning communities, we ensure instructional decisions are backed by evidence of student learning. We begin by analyzing where our students are right now, and this allows us to see exactly which skills need targeting. We then align students' needs with our curriculum pacing in order to keep students on track with grade level standards. We can then plan flexible groupings so that students who have mastered concepts can receive enrichment, while those in need of additional support will be provided with scaffolds and reteaching. Teachers then use formative assessment data to reflect and refine instruction based on their ongoing evidence. At Lakeview, we aren't just looking at a single test score, we are layering universal screening data on top of our classroom achievement data to get a 360-degree view of every student. Our universal screening data acts as our safety net, and it ensures that no student slips through the cracks regardless of how they are performing on classroom assessment. So looking at the achievement versus growth quadrants in the top right, we don't just celebrate high achievers, we focus heavily on high growth, because that is the true measure of our instructional impact. This allows us to see if our practices and interventions are actually moving the needle. The change over time graphs in the bottom left allows our PLCs to see if a specific instructional dip was a one-time event or a trend that requires an adjustment in universal instruction. By layering all these data points, we eliminate the guesswork in our PLC meetings. We use the universal screening data to identify the gap and the classroom data to measure the bridge we are building. It allows us to pivot our instruction in real time, ensuring that by the next data cycle, every student has moved closer to that high growth quadrant. The data analysis leads us to reflection. As we move further into the implementation of our math and ELA resources, we have so much to celebrate in areas in which we can continue to learn and grow. Specifically in math, we have a better understanding of the resource and day-to-day lesson structure. Something we are beginning to explore are the variety of additional resources that are included with the curriculum, such as concept quests for student extension opportunities, and intervention materials available for students needing reteaching and support. Just as we're finding our stride with Bridges in year 3, we are seeing similar themes of growth in our literacy instruction. Now in year 2 of My View, we're seeing some fantastic blows in our foundational skills, specifically with our phonics implementation. We are going to continue to improve the gradual release of responsibility model and professional development of writing instruction as we move further into the resource. And while our curriculum provides the foundation, our building culture provides the momentum. To ensure our students see themselves as lifelong readers, we've implemented several events and incentives that turn reading into a community celebration. We just completed our Battle of the Books competition for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders. This provided a high level of student engagement and encouraged students to read a variety of books to prepare for the competition. Our One Book, One School initiative brought our school community together to engage in a shared text, Dogtown. As all of our staff and students read this book over the course of several weeks, students had opportunities to participate in a robot dog building competition, weekly trivia, and reading with Junie, a very furry visitor. And as you can see in that bottom right photo, we had another furry visitor come in and kick off our One Book, One School initiative and help us conclude it. All these efforts are supporting a year-long goal to collectively reach 1 million minutes as a school. And we know that academic growth and student behavior go hand in hand. So when a student is engaged and supported, behavior improves, and when behavior is managed, learning accelerates. This leads to our building goals we have been working towards in the 25-26 school year. So our academic goal is by the end of the 25-26 school year, the total population of students identified as needing an academic support will reduce by 25%. And then our goal around student behavior is that by the end of the school year, the frequency of behavior incidents will be reduced by 25%.
All right, so we know in order to hit our bullseye, we really need to have a robust system for students. So this is going to take us into our PBIS system. So NextPath has really given us the opportunity to analyze trends, locations, time of day, all those things that really want to pinpoint what we need to focus our attention on. So school-wide data is shared with staff and students, and we reflect on what's going well and areas that we need to draw our attention to. So then up here, our student recognition, we really aim to ensure that students are recognized on a regular basis and supported throughout their academic journey. We've implemented various structures for staff to acknowledge students on a frequent basis to make sure that their achievements are being recognized, positive decisions, and then their integrity as well. So as a community, we really enjoy respecting each other and hearing about others' successes. Morning announcements is one of those things that kids get to hear each other's successes and celebrate with them, but also just making sure that they're held to high standards as well. All right. So I particularly really like this slide because at the beginning of the year, PBIS is set up for a school-wide expectations. And so we revisit those, teach them very regularly and routinely. And it also provides that foundation for which Lakeview really lives on. From there though, the classroom is really customizable. So teachers with their students will identify areas of need that they want to get better at, and they will incentivize and provide immediate feedback for kids to really kind of reward and work towards. So if I draw your attention to the red star up there, it's a very simple but really strong implementation that a kindergarten teacher does. So if a student or a class is working on sitting on the carpet with body basics or behavior expectations, working on not shouting out, the teacher will just gently throw a pom-pom to them. It's very low distraction. The kids just grab it, set it to their side. They accumulate these pom-poms over time, and when they check in with their teacher, they can turn it in for a sticker, a pencil. So many pom-poms would award them to be able to sit in the teacher's chair for the day. All very easy things, but it makes a big difference in the classroom. Then if you look at the blue star, kind of going all the way up to 4th grade, this teacher tied it in with the Olympics. So students were working on not shouting out, working independently during work time, and they were awarded so many points over the course of the month. And should they meet their goal, then they were awarded a pajama day, all of which they were able to have autonomy in deciding how their class operates. So part of our PBS approach is to make sure we regularly create those opportunities for us to come together as a school-wide community. So building that camaraderie across the building is really refreshing and energizing. So whether it's a dress-up day that we all coordinate to dress together, or a school-wide activity promoting that one warrior model, we really anchor to these days as we have tons of energy and enthusiasm from students and staff. All right, so our students' voices are incredibly important. Students in grades 2nd through 4th get to take our student experience survey, and so it really shows a positive reflection of their experience here at Lakeview. So safety, learning, and relationships are the top priorities and top responded answers. While we still are looking at treating each other with respect, those are areas that we're really looking at during unstructured times such as the bus and recess. All right, Lakeview is highly regarded for students and the extra opportunities that they're given beyond the classroom. So we really try to provide this holistic approach for students to thrive within. And these opportunities are made possible because of the Lakeview staff. They dedicate their own time, whether it's the lunch hour, prep, just to give students the opportunity to be introduced to new extracurricular activities. All right, for the employee experience, I selfishly just love being a part of the school community here. The work we do matters, and it matters because you get to collaborate with some of the greatest professionals I've ever been able to work with. So when I'm able to be surrounded by people who not only improved your craft, the culture really sets the tone for itself. All right, so then we're fully driven by our passion to work, and we know that the work that we do has a significant impact. Our team is fully aware how we are in charge of shaping the future. So we're focused on creating that environment with mutual respect, and our team works together to show that unwavering dedication to both our students and each other. So we keep our spirits high by supporting each other through thick and thin, committed to the mission and truly enjoying what we're doing and making sure we have balance and perspective in all that we do. All right, the amazing staff at Lakeview is the driving force behind what we believe is an incredible achievements and environments that we've set. This talented group of individuals works tirelessly around the clock and pours their hearts into the students day in and day out. All right, our mission is to bridge home and school, keeping families a central pillar in what we do. Collaboration with parents and caregivers really enhances student achievement, attendance, behavior, and overall attitude towards learning. Engaging families remains a top priority for here at Lakeview, making sure that when we work together, we know that the benefit for the student is truly outlast anything. Last but not least, our parent-teacher organization is exceptional here at Lakeview. They volunteer their time and energy. They meet regularly once a month to plan these really memorable experiences for our Lakeview families and students. Some to just highlight are the Win Lake Food Drive, where students' competitive edge comes out. The Glow Dance, Dragon Dash, and Family Fun Night are really great high turnout opportunities that happen in the evening. Then we have Trackside, which is in the bottom right, where they organized an opportunity for students to get together outside on non-school days. And then last but not least, Breakfast with My Vet and the Giving Tree are ways that we support Muskego and the greater community. All right, so our motto, Small School, Big Heart, reflects a community where size is a strength. Being a school allows us to know each student by their name and deep relationships that we have with them. A big heart speaks to the culture and care and empathy and support where every student is known and valued. And then the lasting impacts highlights the school commitment to make sure students' values and experiences stay with them beyond their elementary time. So that concludes our presentation. We just want to say thanks for giving us the opportunity to showcase Lakeview tonight. And if you guys have any comments or questions, we're here. So thanks.
Yeah, sorry. So under the student responses,
Yep.
The top, almost 5 the ones relative to teacher, principal, learning.
Mm-hmm.
Dropping below 4 with other students, treating them with respect.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that doesn't surprise me, right? From the standpoint of, your staff is fantastic and they're trying to get all the kids to understand how loved they are.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you see that's even like these are the top 4? Is there anything, these weren't the only 4 questions?
So kind of how I structured it is I did our top 3 on the left-hand side, and then I did our bottom one on the right-hand side.
Oh, okay, so that is the bottom one.
That is the bottom one,
Okay,
yes.
all right. I mean, that's a tough one, right? I mean, how do you get kids to treat each other with respect, some of the things you're doing, right? I get that, but thank you for that explanation.
Yeah, yes, I could have done a better job at that. Yeah, the respect one's just tough. Every year we really talk about that, but it really goes back to those unstructured times of there's just so much energy and passion kids have on the playground that just can resonate and stay with them throughout the course of the day, and it really impacts, how they respond to that. So we try to take it early in the morning when we catch them, but then you have the bus that you. So it's all the things, But overall, I would say I don't have it memorized. What our overall student response score is. It's very high, but that one is just something that we kind of have to just continue to plug away with.
Well, and I think we see that at all levels, right?
Correct.
To speak into all of their lives and tell them how important they are, regardless of maybe what somebody said on the playground. So.
Yes. Yep. And something that's a little deal to us may be a really big deal to them. So.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for all the work you're doing on that, and
Thank you.
Just try to get them to understand, because how important it is for them to go confidently into middle school, and then again confidently into high school is a big impact on their academic performance.
Agreed. Thank you.
For the teacher, turned up the volume. For the teacher, input of what their decisions are and stuff was the lowest one for them.
Correct.
So do you have a means or a way where they can anonymously suggest things, so if they feel like maybe they don't can put that out there, that they have a way or a means to do that?
Yeah, we definitely have opportunities. We had a staff rollout survey, a staff meeting for that, and then we kind of just provided those operational times to just give us feedback ongoing. But I definitely like to do our roundings and check-ins and making sure that even with my I'm a goal leads and just have my hand in various areas of the building just so I can get that pulse. But I'd like to operate under open door policy, but try. But some things may come up that I had no idea. So just continuously checking in with all stakeholder groups, because that is a reflection from certified and support staff.
Oh,
So,
right.
yeah.
It's unfortunately been a theme throughout our elementary buildings, and part of that has been the results of the new curriculum in both math and literacy is much more prescriptive than what it once was. So where we had success historically was a strong curriculum, and then it took years that our staff was kind of revamping it and identifying areas to improve. When you adopt a new curriculum, all of that kind of goes to the side, and you have to implement that curriculum with fidelity, which to our professionals feels like we're being forced to stay inside this narrow box as we ensure that we are doing it with fidelity. So that will also lessen as we continue to move forward and look at our data where students might be struggling, and across our system where we had groups struggling, what were those additional things that our staff developed that help kind of close those gaps and take it to the next level. So we are all watching that in all 3 of our elementary buildings and are optimistic that will improve.
Yeah. It's lovely to see how much the parents enjoy your school and stuff, though. I mean, your lowest level for that one was almost a 5, so that was great.
Yeah, we have a really great partnership with our parents. They've been in a really steady space with communication, and they have just a rhythm in what they expect and what's coming on the calendar next. So it's just a very nice.
Yeah.
They know what to expect, and we follow through on that.
So just to piggyback off of what you were saying, for it being kind of like a bit of a trend across all the elementary schools, does that mean that there's something that is not necessarily school specific, but it's kind of like outside of even just the individual school's control to give that? Or I mean, like it's kind of because of curriculum changes and everything else, it's more district-wide than it is just specific to a school that.
I think anything that's new is we're just kind of, working through some of the kinks. I can confidently say that there's really nice responses as they're in year 2 with the literacy curriculum. So it's going to take time, but the right supports are in place, and the nice progress that we've seen. I'm speaking for literacy in particular. Kindergartners last year, now first graders. It's been really great. Our data's been really great, which is a huge testament to the curriculum that we adopted. So we're getting there. So I think as we continue to progress, they're going to see some really nice benefits as kids are going to come in with.
Okay.
So it's going to take time.
Cool.
And I
teaching the phonics had phonics when they were growing. Because like my age group, we all had phonics, but then it went away, and so maybe they're not used to teaching that type, you know what I mean?
Well, and some of it, just to kind of go back to that original question as well, I just really want to highlight how incredible our staff are. If it was as simple as having great curriculum to have great outcomes, we wouldn't be seeing the challenges we're seeing across the state of Wisconsin. So I think it was a really hard transition for a lot of our buildings that we had been so successful, and not because the curriculum was good or bad, but because of the magic they do with their collaborative teams, taking a look at our data, identifying what instructional strategies are working, where are we missing the gap, how do we close the gap for the students who aren't there yet, how do we extend it for those who have it. But what made us great before this new curriculum was trying it out with fidelity at first and really getting a good hold of the strengths and where the gaps might be with any of the resources. So we're very confident that as these years progress, that teacher voice that they're craving to get back, and the voice in the decisions that impact their job will also come out a little bit more fully. Because we really do have great people. Like, I can't say enough how the conversations in every building, each one of these data points was a point of concern for them, that they're so driven by the outcomes for our students because they genuinely care.
And do let them know that we appreciate them. Because I know how hard, it was hard enough to try to figure out a curriculum in such a short amount of time, much less to have all of those changes at one time. And now that, like you said, they're getting more comfortable, they might feel more flexible and start having better, ideas on how to enhance that. So do share with them that we appreciate them.
They're hard workers. They give 110% every day, and so I do feel that they feel better having a couple of years under their belt going forward. But they're an incredible group. They really are.
Anyone else have anything? I just want to piggyback kind of on what everyone said. Someone on the outside looking in, looking at where we were last year in our rankings and things, and seeing where we're at this year. That's all they see. And we see what you guys all do. We see all the changes that were implemented, that all the staff has been working to learn new curriculum, teach new curriculum. The kids are all adjusting to new stuff. There's so many changes that we have had in our elementary schools in the last couple of years. I don't want them to look at that and think that's the only scale that they're judged on, that we do believe in them, and it's really hard. They've been sitting up at this top spot for so long, and I'm sure that was disheartening for them to see that, but we have 100% confidence in all the staff that we have, that will be right back there as soon as we get all this stuff worked through and they get through back in the saddle where they're on top again. And I couldn't imagine a better district to get us there. So thank you to all of the staff that's working so hard.
And thank you for your support. It means a lot. So thank you guys for being here tonight. Appreciate it.
Anything else? All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, SROs, good luck following that.
I know.
You guys are incredible, and you did bring Tito, so I'm confident that you have the secret sauce, but truly, our next agenda item, we're grateful to have such an incredible partnership with our Muskego Police Department. Safety is foundational to everything that we do. Learning is a social process, and at the basic level, students and staff have to feel safe where they are, and the work that you guys do every single day is a huge part of that. So it's my pleasure to introduce our SROs to give our annual safety report to the board. Oh.
Are you going to do a rap? No?
You're gonna have to stop. I'm talking to the cops. All right, as we prepare to welcome everybody, I just want to talk a little bit about school safety in general. This is a slide, kind of captures everything public facing. And if anybody ever wants to learn more about school safety, we do a really good parent advisory team meeting where we dive super deep into all of our processes. It's always good not to put everything out in front, but what we can share is we have over 400 cameras in our school district throughout all of our schools, inside and outside. One thing that we really appreciate about the police department is the chief has patrols that come around each of our schools, each of our days, to make a point just to even be in the parking lots, and that's in addition to our police department. We have interconnected radios that connect each site to each other, so if there's ever an emergency, we can send messages throughout the district. We use visitor management controls, so we have fobs for all of our staff to get in. They're encrypted fobs. We recently upgraded our system, so we got all new fobs for the entire district, which was really nice to tighten up who has what and where and have good control over it. We use Raptor Visitor Management for 3 different purposes. One, people that come to the buildings are scanned into the facility. It's run against their IDs run against the National Sex Offender Database, and we're able to know who's in our buildings and make sure that they should be in our buildings. 2, we use it for scanning in volunteers. So our volunteers that go on field trips or volunteer in the classroom, they do a complete background check, so that we have all of that for anybody coming into our buildings and volunteering. And then we have an emergency management program, so that in the event of an emergency, we can send quick messages to folks about what to do next, what's happening, where to go if that's the case. As a matter of fact, last week when we were supposed to be meeting and talking about this presentation, the SROs didn't show up, and it turns out there was something happening at Taco Bell. I'm not sure what exactly was going on. But when we learned more, we were able to put Bay Lane into a soft lockdown just to make sure something that could be happening outside the school, that nobody comes in or comes out. And that lasted all of about 3 minutes, so thank you guys. We run everything through our safety team, so we get a lot of calls from parents that might have concerns or things they see on the news or the newest product that's coming out related to safety. And we're willing to do anything if finances are there and it's the right thing to do, but it's just good to get police department, fire department, principals, anybody's opinion on these things before we go full scale, because a lot of these things are incredibly expensive. They take a long time to train on and even get fully functional. So we want to make sure that whatever we do is sustainable from now until forever. We have Tito, I think still one of the only therapy drug sniffing dogs in the state, and students love him. He does great getting around to all the schools. I think Adam will talk about him in a little bit. We fully utilize Speak Up, Speak Out. This is a platform that's run through the state, so anybody that has any concerns about threats of harm, graffiti, anything really can get reported through this portal, and that gets sent to the state. They immediately go to work on identifying the complexity of the emergency. They turn that over to the police department and administrators here, and we all start working on it immediately. This is like a critical function, I believe, for school safety. I recently helped teach a safety class, and there was probably 80 people in the room. This was just like a month ago, all school professionals, and I asked folks to raise their hand if they're utilizing this, and maybe 10 did, so that was a bit disappointing. This is a huge asset to our district to have a monitored tip line. The #1 indicator of school violence and having success against school violence is having a culture of speaking up and letting people know if you see something, you say something. And so that's a perfect avenue to let people report anonymously any concerns that they might have. So super stoked to have all this programming, and we have a lot more happening behind the scenes, but always just like to share a little bit before we dive into our security program. So with that, just introduce each officer. This is a whole new slate of officers here today. So we'll start with Adam Rotek.
Hello everyone. Formerly Adam Rotek, but the easiest way is just to call me Mo. That's what we go with. My name's kind of goofy. It actually fell off before coming in here, so it's kind of cool that we're doing this now. So just call me Officer Mo, please. This is Tito. I know you guys have met Tito. We have continued to evolve. We're trying to push forward to stick with being the one of one. He is currently and super close to getting firearms, in that it's actually the odor associated with ammunition. It's the black gunpowder and smokeless gunpowder. Those are the 2 main odors associated with ammo. So it's not that he can actually find the metal components, it's the odor associated with the ammunition. All firearms, when they're made properly through all the chains that are supposed to be, are fired upon creation. So in theory, he should be able to also find a single firearm without ammunition in it. Tito's doing really, really good. To kind of touch on the Taco Bell thing, I thought it was an awesome first experience with him. That was the first time I've deployed him solely to find ammunition. We went to find the casings. Cool little note, as soon as one was found, Tito was all over it, and it was super exciting. Now, did he necessarily find that specific one? No. He proceeded to continuously pull me into a set of bushes. I think maybe he was trying to be funny, trying to make me crawl throughout bushes. However, given the way that the wind was downwind from the bushes, so if you think about it, I don't mean to make this notion, but as it happened, the firearm went off into the air, the wind was blowing from the south to the north, the bushes were to the north of where the gunman was. So it kept pulling me into the bushes. Super awesome work on Tito's behalf. Gunpowder odor is very heavy, comes down. I have no doubt that it was pulling up into the bushes. Right on the opposite side of the bushes were 2 other casings. So I think Tito did awesome. I'm still learning how to read him, so that maybe that's on me. Tito's fantastic. The therapy, you saw his work tonight. He lights up a room wherever he is. He never gets sick of it. Although he maybe seems a little tired right now, but if I were to release him, he'd go running around and he would have fun as a puppy. I love what I'm doing. I've been here since April. I'm very thankful for you guys to allow me to be in the position that I'm in. I think we stand out amongst others. I've had conversations with other SROs during football games and other sporting events. And I love being able to share my experiences. And I get nothing but moments of, I got it better than you. Like, I really am blessed to be in this position. So that's me.
Right on, nice job. We have cheerleader X, Officer X.
How you doing? My name is Officer X, of course, at Mosquito Lakes. I've been there almost a year now. Last June, I got DARE trained. That way I can teach DARE at the school at Mosquito Lakes as well as St. Paul's. I think with the 1 year anniversary about to come up, I think we've had a good go at Mosquito Lakes. My main goal is building relationships with the kids, being in the lunchroom, being in the class, being in gym. Just last week I did the pacer, I only did 18 laps, it killed me. But I try to do all, I just see pom-pom. I try to be everywhere, all things to all kids, not just the cool kids, the kids that sit alone at lunch. I go sit, engage in the conversation, see what's going on. Some of my kids like reading books, I'll sit down, we'll talk about books. I try to connect with each kid on their playing field, build some kind of connection with them. I think that's the main thing that we should be doing in the schools is not sitting in my office, it's out being there, being visible. In the morning time, I try to be a firecracker, get everybody pumped up. I always call it Motivating Mondays, let's go fired up. The kids think I'm crazy in the morning because I got too much energy. 8 o'clock, but that's just me, how I am. I like to give them a show, and that's my thing. That's always been me, so I have fun with the kids. Like I said, I like sitting in lunch with one-on-one at lunch, and kids come to my class. I don't think we should always just deal with the kids on a negative aspect. I think it's more, we should deal with them on a positive aspect, and that's what I try to do. Because most of the time, a lot of these kids deal with the police is always negative. So I try to be positive. They're working on something in the classroom, or Rockies, whatever. I'll go out and watch them do it, or kick the ball in gym, or play catch, shoot a couple of hoops, which I suck at. But I think that's the main focus, is being visible at the school, and engaging the teachers and seeing who's doing what, who's the trouble kid, who ain't the trouble kid. And I think that's the main focus where we should be doing.
Thank you. And Officer Kinney.
Hi, I'm Officer Josh Kinney. I'm the newest to the trio. Unfortunately, I don't have a Tito to explain, and I do fortunately have 2 guys that have been doing this for a little bit though. I just got rolling into this in January, and it's been a really interesting experience. I've been a 3rd shift patrol officer for 7 years, so even just the world in daylight is new to me. But I haven't had a chance to do a ton of individual stuff. It's only been a couple months, so I'm really working on relationship building. I'm getting to know the students. They actually call me Officer Josh, and then there's a few of them that call me Mr. Clean, because under this hat there's a lot less hair than in my face. But it's been a really interesting experience.
Is that you in a picture? I couldn't even see.
Yeah, I know, the same flag. Usually can't see me over their heads, either walking down the hallway. But I think more importantly, something that's been really helpful for me, just kind of coming into this in a completely different role than what I'm used to, is that I got a couple guys that also just started relatively recently, but X has got a ton of experience in the schools, so we bounce ideas off of each other all the time. So yes, we have our own respective schools, but at the same time, it's a collaborative effort pretty much through every single thing that we have. Sometimes the lieutenant stops out at our office and we're not sure if we're in trouble or if we're doing something right, but so far everything's been good. What else? Yeah, I don't know, that's pretty much all I got. I'm still kind of getting used to it, and I'm excited to be doing it, and this has been a great move for me and my family and my kids. They're getting ready to come to sporting events and everything too, even though they're not from the district, so maybe we'll get them into the district at some point in time. I would say just keep going with it.
All right, thank you. Lastly, Lieutenant Johannick, to talk about some of the data that we've collected over the past year.
Yeah, so just a couple of the data points. We are able to track multiple different data points. One of the things we look at is calls for service. As would be expected, high school had the most calls for service specific to our SROs. These are just SROs, individual stuff, so if something's happening on SROs on their own, that wasn't included in these statistics. So if something happened in high school on a Saturday, morning, for example, something like that, that would be included here. But high school had 336, 39 incident reports. Lakeview had 106 calls for service with 25 incident reports, and Muskegon Middle School had 50 calls for service and 12 incident reports. Again, as would be expected for citations issued, Muskegon High School was the highest of the three, followed by Lakeview and Muskegon Lakes Middle School. Then Officer X also is tasked with any of the bus passing complaints, because we do have a very good relationship with the school bus company as well, so they actually have video. So when there are bus passing complaints, they reach out to Officer X and he investigates any of those as well, and that's something we take extremely seriously with the bus passing complaints. There's a lot of gray area in law enforcement. Bus passing complaints is pretty black and white. You pass a bus, when the horns are out and the lights are on, you're going to be receiving a citation because that's a grave, in our opinion, a grave safety violation. So, as far as special events and overtime work, in 2025 we have 21 additional events worked outside of normal hours. And as far as special event overtime hours, primarily worked by the school resource officers. In the 24-25 school years, we had about 184 hours. And through December 31st, we're up to 127 hours worked, again, in addition to the regular hours worked for overtime and special events.
Thank you. And lastly, the Chief wanted to say a few words.
The microphone up here works. Maybe this one, or I'll steal this one.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you for the opportunity to speak here this evening. Thank you, Mrs. Shanahan, for welcoming us. Superintendent Irvine, I'm going to echo both of your words. It is about our staff and their care and commitment to what we have here. You've heard the phrase one warrior. I kind of stole that from Mr. McMillan, but it is about relationships and partnerships. What you don't see here is the value if you get tied up into citations, calls for service, but you're not seeing how many connections they're making with individual students. There is no partnership in the Muskego Police Department that's greater than our partnership with the Muskego Norway School District. If I can make that 100%, the resource, and I call it the resource, are our children that are in these schools, including mine that you saw here earlier here this evening. So please understand of how important this relationship is to us. In addition to that, we've been asked through our labor attorney, through Van Briesen, for Superintendent Irvine and Lieutenant Johannick are actually going to be speaking at the conference about this relationship that we have with the city, with the Muskego Police Department and the Muskego Norway School District. And that's a testament to everybody working collaboratively to solve problems and to understand what our why is. So again, my staff and your staff, and it makes for great students. So thank you.
Questions?
So about a month ago, I went to an event at the high school. It was during the day, and parents were invited. And whether a visitor or a parent, I'm not exactly sure, she got really nervous when she saw one of the officers, and she turned around and she said, "Why is there a security guard here?" And I said, "It's not a security guard, it's a Muskego police officer." "Did something happen?" I said, "Well, hopefully not." She said, "Well, why are they here?" And I said, "Because they're part of our school." And you should have seen just the body language completely relaxed. Conversely, what I didn't see is any nervous kids. They were all walking past and saying hello and things like that. And I guess to kind of go off what the chief said, the partnership and the way that our kids feel when you're there is safe. And Officer X dancing with them is a huge deal, right? I mean, it makes them feel like they don't have to be afraid, right? When Tito comes around, and you'll eventually have the same thing, right? It only 2 months. So thank you. The fact that there's 6 of you here this evening on a Monday night at a school board meeting kind of tells us what the partnership's like, so thank you.
Well, the only thing I wanted to just interject, I don't know if you guys are gonna leave after this presentation, is that, I know I talked to, Officer Westfeld about this program that's gonna be coming on May 7th, but it's called Rachel's Challenge, and it talks about connections with, you know, everyone within the community and stuff to prevent school shootings. So, I have flyers and stuff that I can give you tonight if you leave after this that you can get, so. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that you can spread it around. It's a community event on May 7th.
Just thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we're so fortunate. I'm fortunate to be on both sides of working with you guys on that side and this side. And we hands down have the best police department. I don't think there's anything that we can ask that you guys would say no to. And we always feel so comfortable about if we need something in the school to be able to ask for something extra. You guys deliver all the time, and anytime you walk into a school event, some of you are there and you're not even need to be there. You're not even on, but you're there, you're watching the kids, because you know them and you have relationships with them. It's the most incredible relationship we have that invaluable. I feel sorry for other districts that don't have this, because it's just, it takes a lot from both sides to be able to work together and do this. I do encourage you, like, if things are happening that as an SRO that you're questioning or that you have concerns about, to come forward and don't let them, you know, like, hey, I don't feel right about this, to come forward and talk to the principal, you can come to me, anyone, really, so that we can, you know, work through if there's any issues or things that you can think we can do better on our end to make your job better, or vice versa. I want that to be a two-way street so that we can keep working together and continue to improve and make it always the best relationship that we can have. So thank you to each of you for doing what you do and keeping us safe in our community. Thank you.
All right. Well, that concludes the superintendent's report. Thank you guys for your service.
Thank you for having us here and entertaining us, and all the beautiful artwork and everything that you do for us. It means a lot. And then moving on to the purpose report.
2 district residents, Chris Buckmaster and Barb Schrader, will assist school board member Tracy Blair with the canvass for April 7th, 2026 school board election. The board canvass will be held on Thursday, April 9th, 2026 at the Educational Services Center, 4 p.m. As a note, the board canvassers will reconvene no later than 9 a.m. on Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. If any amended statements, tally sheets, and lists are received after April 9th, 2026 from a municipal clerk, for provisional ballots eligible to be counted.
Reason to change that and then
Yep.
see that date. Thank you. All right. Okay, board member reports. Kevin? Chris? No. Jason?
Just the report.
Lori? Tracy?
Just what I talked about before about the Rachel's Challenge being May 7th. So.
All right, committee reports. Educational Services Committee report.
As per stated in the minutes, just updates from our past meeting.
Okay, and Policy Committee has no report. And Business Services.
For our meeting, we had our state representatives, Wickers and Maxey, as well as Senator Bradley in attendance. Julie was kind enough to put together some slides for them to take some information back to Madison, hopefully help advocate on our behalf and give us updates on all the stuff that's going on right now.
Thank you again for all your work on committees. Moving on to 9, resolution action items. Early college credit program and Start College Now.
Motion to approve Early College Credit Program ECCP and Start College Now SCN credits as presented.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 2026 MNS K-8 Summer Learning Academy Guidebook.
Motion to approve the 2026 MNS K-8 Summer Learning Academy Guidebook as presented.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Superintendent contract approval.
Motion to approve the superintendent contract as discussed in closed session.
And discussion, and I'll just mention that in looking at Mr. Irvine's contract, we went over, as a group, we went over the things that, the work that was done and the goals met over the last 2 years that he's been in this position, and he's meeting all of those goals and then some. And also it's very important for us to keep our staff at or above median in comparables to those around here. So that is the reasons why we changed the contract for Todd. And that will be effective July 1st. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Gifts, grants, and bequests.
Motion to approve with thanks the following donations. To Mosquito Lakes Middle School, $500 from Jacob and Nelda Sis to support Mrs. Warr and Mrs. Reed's 5th grade team. Rachel's Challenge keynote speaker, $500 from St. Leonard's Athletics, $400 from Brett Blair Excel Building Services, $200 from the Schrader family, and $100 from the Giolanza family. Who's first? Kevin Wilson.
Any discussion?
Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. No discussion items tonight. You find your follow-up information there for monthly financial reporting and support staff. And co-curricular hires, resignations, and retirements there. And that brings us to adjournment. Motion to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.